Okay, we're going to get started. I'm Larry Rogers, the Chairman of the Board of the Montgomery County Tea Party PAC. And welcome you all here tonight. I'd like to introduce our President, Vice President, and all of our officers. Bob Bagley. Where's Bob? There he is. He's the President. Vice President is John Wirtz. He's not here tonight. Ken Ernest, our Treasurer. Debbie Hawk, she's our Secretary over here. And she's it's kind of hard to see with the lights, but anyway, we have Kendra Kumagachi, Yamaguchi, excuse me. I almost messed up. We've got Lana Hort. What am I missing? I think that's it. All right, well, let's get started. Bob?
Thank you all for coming tonight. It's a little scarce on the numbers tonight, but there's two other campaign things that are taking place. And so candidates have to be where they have to be. And if they're speaking, then they got to be there. So if you would stand, we'll start off with prayer and then we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. Father, we thank you tonight for the many blessings that you bestow upon this nation. We thank you for our freedom of speech, our freedom to gather tonight peacefully, not like some other places are taking place. We just ask that you'll be with this meeting, with the Tea Party. Give us the wisdom that we need to make the choices, to be able to get the people elected into our state, local, and federal offices that'll bring this country back to you. Ask that you'll bless the food tonight. Those that are here, grant them a safe trip home. We ask it in Christ's name. Amen. Today?
Let's do the pledges. First, the greatest country in the world, the U.S. flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the greatest state in the nation. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. You can be seated. Just a reminder, we only have a few rules. One is if you're not going to interrupt your pastor when he's speaking, then please don't interrupt our speakers when they're speaking. If you need to carry on a conversation, it's nice and cool and comfortable outside, and take it out there. The other one is when we get to questions, we want you to ask questions, not pontificate. And there's another one, but I forgot it, so it must not be important right now. I do want to thank you here for being here. You could have been a lot of other places. We just finished up our vetting for all the candidates that would participate, and spent a couple thousand man hours doing it. We had a questionnaire, and we also had live interviews, and all those can be seen on our website. So you can go over the questionnaires, and you can actually see the candidates speak and listen to them and see what they have to say. It's been a blessing to be able to do it. And that's one of the things that we decided when we formed this organization 13 years ago, that was one of the most important things that we would do would be to educate the voters. We published our voter guide. We have a few copies up front. We printed over 120,000 of them. Some will be mailed, some will be passed out while people are block walking, and the rest of them will be used during early voting and on election day itself. Again, to educate the voters. You know, there's comments that we're dictating people how to vote, telling them this is the way you have to vote, and that's not the case. We do the vetting so that it's like a business interview. These are people that we would hire for these positions, and you know, you don't have to accept it. You can vote for whoever you want to. We're not telling you who to vote for. We're just giving you our recommendations. Normally, I'd have all the candidates come forward, but we have a special guest with us tonight that we hadn't planned on being here. And I'm going to ask Don Huffines to come up and speak for a little bit because he has another engagement to go to.
Take that off real fast so I get closer to the mic. Thanks, Bob. I appreciate it. Well, hello, guys. Hello, Montgomery County. Hello, Montgomery County Tea Party. You guys are the best. I'm Don Huffines, and I'm running to be your next comptroller. And I'm also on your voter guide. Yay, thank you so much. Really, thank you very much. I'm very humbled to receive the endorsement, and I'm not going to let you down. I just want to brag on your group just a little bit. I don't know, and I go around the state a lot and over the years, and I don't know of any other group that's more organized, more effective in getting conservatives or the right people elected than y'all are. You really are. Having people at every polling location, passing out the voter guides, and whatever you're doing, all the other stuff you're doing, signs and everything else, it's just so effective. But the comptroller race is heating up, of course. I've got two competitors in the race. I'm way ahead in the polls. So my goal now, guys, is to get you to work extra hard because I don't want a runoff, right? We don't want to go to overtime. We don't know what can happen in overtime, but I know one thing, and it's going to cost me a lot more money. And I don't like that. I want to save my money, put my money where I open the other candidates or wherever else. So I am the largest investor in my race, but I've also raised a lot of money, and it's really going great. I've got incredible endorsements, not only your endorsements, but Ted Cruz, and I won't go through them all. There's so many, but there ain't anybody in conservative organizations that haven't endorsed the campaign. And I'll just tell you it's for a real reason. It's because they know they can trust me. They know that I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do, and I've proven that, and I've got the receipts to prove that, and the track record, of course. And one that I tell you that some people tell me not to use to remind everybody, but old Charlie Kirk, before he got murdered, he endorsed my campaign, and he said I'm the only candidate that could come to Texas and be in Texas that's got the track record and the courage to bring Donald Trump's sense of urgency to Texas. My campaign's to Doge the state, as you know, but I really appreciate everything. Thank you so much for all your support. We got to have that sense of urgency and that commitment and that passion to win this. And I know I'm going to get it from all you great patriots here tonight and all the other people that aren't here tonight. But thank you very much. God bless you, and God bless Montgomery County, and God bless our great state of Texas. Thank you. Messed it up on you, Bob. I'm sorry.
You have time for questions?
Oh yeah, I got time for a quick question. Anybody got something burning in their mind? Comptroller.
If you want to,
Wait a minute. Here comes my beautiful wife, Mary Catherine. Oh, okay, my timekeeper.
Hey, again,
I got 5 minutes before the Uber gets here. Anybody got a quick question about the comptroller's position?
Yes. Some of us in this audience have been, working on the appraisal district.
Yes.
And a simple question: why can't the state, require the appraisal districts, maybe the top 25, to film and post their meetings? It's a mess. You can't find out what's going on unless you attend the meetings.
Well, I think that's a very good question. The state could do that, of course. The state legislature controls everything. All the authority of the federal government generally comes from the state legislature. They can certainly do that. That would be legislative. And if they did do that, I think I would have a lot of responsibility to help enforce that if that isn't already a law. I remember when we were there that we were working on legislation like that when I was there. I didn't know after I left if that got passed or not. I guess not, if they're not doing it. But if that is a law, I'll hold them accountable to that. You can rest assured. But not only the meetings, but the lack of transparency in a lot of issues. You know, the comptroller has a lot of discretion and the tax laws because they're vague. They're not, you know, you really don't know, okay, you pay sales tax on this and what. All of that's all up to the comptroller. The whole school choice program is going to be up to the comptroller. 3,000 employees. I remind everybody I'm more focused on the spending side. We're spending $500 million a day. It all comes through the comptroller's office. And I have eyes and ears and all that. I'm a businessman, a successful business, got a lot of different businesses, primarily real estate and one of the largest developers in Dallas, but DFW. So I know that a dollar saved that we don't spend is a dollar we earned, and hopefully we apply it to property tax relief. So I'm going to doge it good. I'm not going to let you down. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir. Okay, I know we have a few candidates. Where I can't see you, but if you'd like to come forward, give us a couple of minutes, and then we'll have our Agr Commissioner come up and speak. Yep.
I don't mind leading off, Bob.
You want this one?
No, I don't care which side. I'm just trying to get cord undone here.
Go ahead.
Is that okay like that?
Yeah.
Now we're cooking with gas. Good evening, everyone. I am Michael Gutzman. I'm the Major Crime Chief at the Montgomery County District Attorney's Office. I am board certified in criminal law, running to be your next judge of the 359th District Court. The 359th District Court is a district court that handles criminal felonies here in Montgomery County by agreement. It's one of our 4 district courts that handles felonies. Judge Hamilton is currently the presiding judge in the 359th. She is retiring, so it will be an open bench. And so you will have a new judge in the 359th. And so why should you pick me? Well, if you like public safety, then you like me. As of today, I have an endorsement from every police chief in this county that has the ability to endorse. Why is that important? Police chiefs are appointed officials. They don't have to do anything politically. They don't have to come to our meetings. They don't have to get elected. They don't have to do anything. I have worked with each of those chiefs on different issues to ensure public safety in the community during my time as a prosecutor with the district attorney's office. They have seen my work. They have seen my commitment. They have seen my level of resolve in everything that I have done to help their agencies and help their officers make sure that your streets are safe. I'm also endorsed by the Montgomery County Law Enforcement Association. I also have endorsement from Brett Ligon, our former district attorney and our longest serving district attorney. Both me and my opponent have worked for Brett Ligon at the district attorney's office for a long time. And when you work for somebody, especially somebody that is widely regarded as the best district attorney in the state of Texas for that long, you get to know somebody. And you get to learn about their commitment, you get to learn about integrity, and you get to learn whether or not they can be trusted. And overwhelmingly, law enforcement supports me and Brett supports me. What am I asking you to do? I'm asking you to support me too. If you want a judge that is going to be tough on crime, if you're tired of hearing people just talk about it and not seeing the results, if you want things to be done, then you want me as your next judge of the 359th District Court, Michael Gutzman. I'll be number 1 on your ballot, hopefully number 1 in your heart. You don't want that high up there. You want that down
there. All right. Well, I am Gwen Withrow, and I am your current county chairman for the Republican Party. So it is extremely, thank you very much. it is extremely important that I have your help as to run for re-election. If you do not want chaos in the Republican Party and a split party and no work being done, then you need to re-elect me. So I am asking each and every one of you to be at the polls, working in the parking lots, block walking, whatever it takes. Because, well, David was just telling me that my opponent was able to send out flyers all over the county. That cost a lot of money. So he has a lot of money behind him and a lot of candidates coming forward. Well, the candidates that got censored, in case you don't remember that. And they're kind of mad at me because the party, not me, but the party censored them. So they want my opponent in office so that they have no accountability to you, the voter. So please, please, please work hard so that we can keep the party together and functioning like it's supposed to. Thank you.
Can I say something?
As running for office?
Yes. I just want to announce that David got me. I'll be running for Mud District 6, Mud District 6 in May. So, yeah, Amy Van Horn.
Thanks. Yeah. You know, we look at a lot of the elected officials and the importance of their positions, but some of the most important elected positions that we have are mud directors and some of the others that are way down on the totem pole when it comes to the voting ballot, and they need our support as well. And that'll be a May election, so we'll keep on board with that one. Anybody else running for office? We can't see. Okay, Sid, would you like to come up? It's easy to get tangled up.
My uniform on. Well, good evening, Patriots. Thank y'all for coming out. I really appreciate it. I know everybody's busy and getting wore out with all the campaigning going on, but at least all the diehards are here tonight. I can appreciate that. So thank you for what you do. It's good to be here tonight. Actually, it's good to be anywhere besides Austin. So thanks for getting me out of there. I asked the gentleman when I got here what he wanted me to talk about. And he told me about 20 minutes and then take a few questions and we'll go home. So somebody let me know when my time's up, because I don't want to go over. A little bit about myself. I'm an 8th generation farmer and rancher, the only farmer and rancher that's running for this position. I have an education in agriculture from Tarleton State University. I'm an honors graduate from there, the only candidate in this race that has any agriculture education. I have plowed, cultivated, and planted and harvested crops. My opponent has never planted or harvested anything. I have drug calves to branding fire and worked them. I have I have milked cows, shod horses, sheared sheep, just about anything that you can do in agriculture, I've done it. And I'm the only candidate in this race that's done anything like that. When I graduated from college, I was an ag teacher. And I really enjoyed that. For 5 years, I got to teach young people how to make a living in agriculture. And I really hated leaving it, but I had to make a choice whether to feed my family or starve. So I went into business for myself and became a very successful businessman. I was a FFA advisor and a 4-H leader in my community. And, when I grew up, as soon as I could get into 4-H at 9 years old, I joined 4-H and started showing animals and continued that through high school and FFA. My opponent's never been in either one of those, never been 4-H or FFA. The other day he said that the FFA doesn't teach anything about agriculture. I disagree. You just go down here and look at those 25,000 animals at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, and I think those kids are learning something about agriculture when they drag all those kids down there. Houston Rodeo, okay. I haven't missed a Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo since 1974. I've been to every one of them. I'm a lifetime member. I'm an honorary director. And if you're just curious, on March the 22nd, I'm competing in the calf roping, and you can come see me. Just to see it for yourself. My opponent paints this bleak picture of all the farms going out of business and how terrible agriculture is, and he tries to somehow make that my fault. Well, the facts are, when I started as your Ag Commissioner 10 years ago, the agriculture output for our state was $106 billion. That's pretty good. 106. Today it's $230 billion. We more than doubled the agriculture output for our state. So our farmers' ranks have done pretty good. Almost 1.5 times what it was 10 years ago. Now he'll tell you, oh man, we're losing 68 farms a week in Texas. Well, that's actually true. But what he doesn't tell you is we're gaining 81 new ones. And that's kind of important to tell the whole story. So we're doing good. We're actually gaining farmers. We're gaining medium-sized farmers, large farmers. We're getting extra large farmers. All those are increasing. Now, the odd thing about it is the size of the farm is shrinking. You'd think everybody's consolidating, but it's not. They're actually getting a little smaller. Now, a little bit about my agency. I think it's one of the better run agencies, but I'm probably a little biased, but you don't have to take my word for it. We recently went through the sunset process. There's a government agency called the Sunset Commission. The heads of it is appointed by the governor, and there's people on there appointed by the speaker and the lieutenant governor. They're kind of like bank examiners. They go through your agency and figure out what you're doing good and what's doing bad. If you're doing too bad, that's why they call it sunset. The sun sets on you and it never comes up, you go away. So, but they'll take pieces of it and give it to someone else that might do a better job. So we went through ours, and they called us, me and my executives, in for the exit interview to, give us their findings. We're a little apprehensive. You don't know any idea what they've, found. Here's what they told us. They said that all the decades that we've been examining state-run agencies, the Texas Department of Agriculture is the best run agency we've ever examined. So I'm pretty proud of that. And that's a testament to our employees. We've got people that really care about their job. And by the way, we have the lowest turnover rate of any state agency. Our turnover rate is about 14%. Compare that to 21% for the governor. And he's got a pretty good operation too. A few current things. We are losing a lot of prime farmland to AI data centers, solar farms, crypto mining, and we keep that up. Someday we're going to run out of that very fertile ground. We've got lots of land, but it's not all fertile. Only about 5% of it is prime, what I call prime farmland. So these are building out in the country, and the counties have no ordinance making authority, so there's no oversight, no regulation, no guardrails, no organization, and I get a lot of complaints about that. So I decided to do something about it. Now, I'm a low government regulation guy. I don't like putting new regulations on anybody. So what I come up with was something called agriculture freedom zones. And this has incentives for them to build in our less productive land. So we can give them deferred capital gains taxes. We can give them accelerated depreciation. So everybody I tossed it to liked it. So I went to Washington, D.C. and met with Peter Navarro. He's a personal advisor to Donald Trump. He fell in love with it. I visited with most of the Texas Republican delegation in Congress. Representative Moran thinks he's going to file the bill. I'm not a lawmaker. I can't pass it. So somebody's going to have to take the ball and run with it. So I think that's good. I think we can put some guidelines around and give them some direction. The only other way I know to fix it is we could require them all to be built in Greenland, I guess. Maybe that would solve the problem. We've got a problem with screw worms. They're right down on the border, and it's very troublesome because you'd think the dead of winter we wouldn't have many flies, but they're down there. We've got about 20 active cases. I've worked real hard with the USDA and everybody else involved. I've got traps on the river where we're trapping those, and we're not trapping them to kill them. It's for observation, surveillance. So we'll know when they come in. And we've trapped like 6,500 blowflies, and the screwworm fly is a type of blowfly. So we know our traps work. So we're ready. I recently met with the officials, government officials, government agriculture officials from Mexico and the 11 Central American countries in my office. And I showed them research that I had about a fly bait that would eradicate the screwworm fly. And they were excited. They'd been trying to develop a bait. They took my information, went back. I hadn't heard back from them. But the preferred method has always been sterile male flies. They only mate one time. So if you can get enough sterile male flies out there to mate with the females, their eggs are infertile. We started that program in 1930, and we didn't eradicate the screwworm until 1975. And in 1975 is when we put out the fly bait, and it killed 95% of them. So I think we ought to broaden our horizon and hopefully do that. So we've done that, and we're still on top of the screwworms. You know, in this race, I'm the MAGA candidate. No one can out MAGA. I mean, I was the first statewide official to endorse Donald Trump in his first election, his second election, his third election. I co-chaired his Agriculture Advisory Committee, and believe it or not, he didn't know much about a farm. Can you believe that? Yeah. So he said, you know, could you help us and stay on top of stuff and let me know what's what? So I did that, and we had a good committee, and still get to advise him on that. So that's been good. He calls me Trump's man in Texas, and I'm kind of proud of that. I've got an excellent relationship with nearly probably half his cabinet. I have their cell phone numbers. They're personal friends of mine. Of course, Brooke Rollins, the Ag Secretary, she grew up 25 minutes from my house. Scott Turner served in the Texas House. He's a close friend of mine. We've got Doug Burgum, Secretary of the Interior, from a rancher from North Dakota. I've gotten to know him pretty well. Kristi Noem, I've known her long before she was in the cabinet, actually. She's off a ranch in South Dakota. A good cowgirl too. I'm telling you, I've seen her ride. She does all right. And we've got a new guy up there that come on the scene named Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And we may not agree on everything politically, but the stuff we agree on, we really, really agree on. So we've got to become very good friends, and I'm the only state elected official that he put on his MAHA team. He loves what we're doing here in Texas. He wants to replicate it across the rest of the United States. And what we're doing, I should have told you at first, I guess, that I'm responsible for feeding 5.5 million school meals every day. And when I took over, they weren't feeding any local products. It was terrible. It was all over processed, flash frozen. They thawed it out and threw it on that plastic tray. And instead of having healthy kids, we had healthy trash cans because they wouldn't eat it. So I worked real hard over the last 10 years to turn that around. And we've done it. We have 81% of our schools on a voluntary basis participating in our Farm Fresh program. So last year, our schools bought $300 million worth of locally grown products and fed our children and grandchildren in our schools. So he really likes that. I worked real hard to get whole milk back in schools. We got that done finally. That's going to be a huge game changer. I worked on all the MAHA stuff. I was there. Bobby invited me up to unveil the inverted pyramid, the new food pyramid. So I was there with that. And so that's been a good relationship. That is a fairly new relationship. All these other people I've known quite some time. Actually, Stephen Miller, he's also kind of like Peter Navarro. He's an advisor to the president. When I sued Biden for discrimination, he was my lawyer. His first America First Legal was my legal representation. So I've known him quite a long time. Got to work with him. And you remember that the guy named the Russia collusion guy, Carter Page? You remember him? Yeah, he works for me. He's been working for me about 4 years. So I'm kind of in with that crowd. No other candidate in this race has that kind of relationship with this administration, and it's really nice because I was suing Biden all the time. Now I'm advising, the people up in Washington D.C. We've got, I don't know how much more time I've got, but I would like to save time for some questions. Can we want to go into that now, or go a little longer? Okay. Well, we've got this marketing program called the Go Texan program. When I took over, it was about 250 participants. Today, we're right at 3,000. And we picked up some pretty prominent ones, a lot of little ones. It's really designed for startups and entrepreneurs and mom and pops. They might make a really good product, but they don't know how to sell it. So we come in, set them up a website, show them how to set it on Amazon, take pictures, and we just give them a little push and get them started. But we have some people like recently have joined. Whataburger is now a Go Texan member. They're proud. Of course, HEB has been a member for a long time. And we've had other members like SpaceX and Toyota, Gulf States Toyota down in San Antonio. They're Go Texan members. So we're pretty proud of that, and we continue to grow that. The biggest problem we have in America, one of the biggest, and no one talks about it, is agriculture trade deficit. And what that means is America's always been the breadbasket of the world. We grow enough stuff for us, and it's been our number one or number two export, and we feed a lot of the other people around the world. Well, under the Biden administration, their agriculture department did not sign one trade agreement, none. Their people were all about the, Green New Deal, climate change, DEI policies, LGBTQ, and all this other woke stuff. They didn't do their job. So that's how we got into a $50 billion trade deficit. Let me just make that plain. We're buying $50 billion more food than we're exporting. That's a problem. We are now dependent on foreign nations to feed us. That's going to stop. So we're working hard on that through our Go Texan program. I have 45 foreign trade missions set up in the next 12 months. As we speak right here, I've got a team in Dubai at the Gulf Food Show there. I've got a team in Oman, and I've got a team in Mexico City. So we're in 3 foreign countries as I speak tonight, and we're closing that gap. About 3 months ago, and it took us about 3 months to close the deal with Taiwan. In my office, they agreed to purchase $10 billion of agriculture products over what they'd been doing. So we knocked $10 billion right off that 50 on our first deal. So I think we'll get there. I think we'll get there. Our Go Texan program, we do a lot of things outside the box. To promote our Go Texan members, we started a TV show, had 14 seasons of a show called Texas Agriculture Matters on RFD TV. It's a rural programming network. That went real good, and then I found a new relationship with Bob and Kelly Phillips. Y'all heard of those people? The Texas Country Reporter. I know you've seen it. It's the longest running show on the planet, 52 years. So they've come on board with us, and they've helped us design a new show called Texas Our Texas. And if you like Texas Country Reporter, you'll like Texas Our Texas. It's just ordinary people doing extraordinary things, and we love to showcase those people. So we'll go around the state, pick 3 to 4 of them per episode. So you can watch us on RFD TV. Tuesdays at 5 p.m. It re-airs on Fridays at 6 a.m. You might want to tape it. That may be a little early for some people. So we do that. We had a NASCAR racing team. People wanted to, market to the redneck crowd, the NASCAR crowd. So we did that, and we raced for 7 years. We never won a race, but we raced. And they seem to enjoy that. So those are some of the things that we do, outside the box. When I took the agency over, I was $18 million in the red, just operating expenses, not the budget, just operating expenses. And I got that fixed in 8 months. The scales hadn't been inspected, or, it was terrible. So I launched Operation Maverick. We went around the state, got 7,000 businesses back on legal scales. Can you imagine how much gold and silver got stolen from people using unregulated scales in our state? It's just amazing. So we do that. We've got the scales now are certified at the airport that weigh your luggage, at the feed store, and the grocery store, and just about everywhere else. So that's been a good one. Our organic program had a 3-year backlog. A farmer would have to wait 3 years to get his farm certified. We got that fixed, and it's now 120 days. This train runs on time. So that's just kind of some of the things that I've been doing as your Ag Commissioner. Well, one other thing, then I'll take some questions. When I took over, and this is one of the toughest things I did, and I knew I was going to really catch it if I did it. Most politicians wouldn't have the stomach to do it. When I came on board, people that we serve, like Buc-ee's and Valero, HEB, pesticide license, they were paying half the cost of the program, and you, the taxpayers, were subsidizing the other half. They come out of general revenue. I said, I don't like subsidies. I'm going to stop that. And so I knew that everybody screamed bloody murder that I was raising fees, and I did. But I cut out all the taxpayer subsidies on anybody that we serve. So I just think Buc-ee's and Walmart, they can probably pay their own way. I mean, they can probably pay the full price. And a farmer, oh man, his pesticide license went from $35 to $75. And most of them didn't really, complain about that. I think they understood, but I really got beat up for that. And I'm a raising taxes, raising fees, but I thought it was justified, and I was willing to take the heat. Let me take a few questions for you tonight. Or comments? Yes, sir.
If you have a question, you need to come up front, please. It's
expect to come up here, but I just wanted to give you a compliment. I really like what you're doing, how you said that you explained the fertile land and how instead of just kicking out AI, because I'm sure some of these things, fortunately and unfortunately, are inevitable. They're going in directions. Yep, and they're going to get heavily into agriculture as well. And I like the displacement. I like that you're saying, you know what, we need to save this fertile land. I'm looking a lot into the refertilization of land as well, and I support you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. God bless you. Love hearing that.
again, if you're going to pontificate, we still need a question.
My question is in 2 parts. So water is, it's described as a new goal in Texas, a resource, natural resource that we really need more of. So what have you done about water just to increase the supply? And then a little bit on the second question is this deep water drilling. I mean, I've kind of looked it up a little bit, and some people feel like it's not really feasible, but I just wanted to see what you thought.
Okay, water. For the last 10 and 12 years, I've been the only statewide official saying we're out of water. We got to do something. We're out of water. So finally, this session, the legislature woke up and figured we're out of water. It got so bad that we lost our sugarcane industry in the valley, closed the last sugarcane processing plant. Mexico wouldn't pay their water bill. So I was the one that issued an executive order allowing the farmers to use the water out of the Rio Grande that Mexico was dumping in there and running out into the Gulf of America. That got Mexico's attention, got them to the table. I quickly made a trip to Washington, D.C. and sat down with Sid Miller and say, hey, Mexico is not paying the water bill. Our farmers are going out of business. We've got to do something. He said, well, no one ever told me that. I said, I'll fix that. So a week later, Trump announced he was if Mexico didn't pay their water bill out of the Rio Grande, they wouldn't get any water out of the Colorado River. I thought that was a fair trade, pretty good. And then they said they'd pay it, they never did. So about 2 months ago. He came back and said, all right, you don't pay until you get your water bill paid, I'm putting an extra 5% tariff across the board on everything you sell in Mexico. The next day, President Scheinbaum called and said, we're going to release that water. And the banks are running full now. It's going right into Lake Falcon, so we've got that solved. Now, deep earth water, I'm the only one talking about this. I actually like to call it Genesis water. There's oceans of water, and this is undeniable, it's fact, you can look it up, in the core of the earth. It's under pressure, and it seeks to get out just like oil or gas is under pressure. And if you ever hit one of these little fingers that come up, you have what's called an artesian well. It'll just shoot out of the ground. You don't even need a pump for it. It's great. And we have technology now using MRI that slices the ground in thin horizontal layers where we can find that little stream that's trying to make its way to the top, and we can economically drill for that. And it's going to revolutionize the way we have water all over the state, all over the United States. It's already being used in Saudi Arabia in the desert. They're turning the desert into very productive, fertile ground. So I like to call it Genesis water because in Genesis, it refers to this water. It says, and God opened the earth and waters came forth and flooded the land. That's what this is. It's that water that just come out of the ground. So you'll look for it in the future. Probably take another 5 to 10 years before we fully embrace it. But we won't need that Marvin Nichols reservoir that's so controversial up in northeast Texas because we'll have a different source of water.
So I've been reading a lot about the screw fly, and you touched on it. A few questions, if you don't mind. So the first one is that the male breeding ground for the sterile males is in Mexico. And my first question is, right? It's in Texas? Where is it?
Panama.
Oh, it's in Panama. Okay.
We have one fly production facility, and it's in Panama.
Okay. So the question on that is are the Panamanians being good partners in that?
We actually own it. So,
okay.
Yeah.
USDA?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's called a COPEG facility.
Okay.
So we fund it. It makes 100 million flies a week. It sounds like a lot, but we need 700 million flies a week for it to be effective.
Right.
So the plans are two plans. And you need to finish your question.
No, I got a couple more.
Okay,
Go ahead.
let me finish this one.
Yeah.
So we sent $100 million to Mexico to convert a fruit fly production facility into a screwworm facility.
Yeah.
We hadn't heard back from them. I don't know what's happening there. The cartels, man, I got that money and left. I can't find out anything.
That's what I was thinking of.
And then the other one was a brand new facility down on Moore Air Force Base, which the USDA owns. And that's where our other facility was back in the 60s and 70s. And they allocated $750 million. Well, they were going to build it back where the other one was because all the utilities and everything was there that they needed. They went down there and they figured out that was surrounded by subdivisions. Mm-hmm. Now, the way you sterilize these males is you use radiation. So you have to irradiate them. So you can't really put radioactive material in a subdivision. So they're trying to find another spot. They think they found one, but it's no utilities, no water, no nothing, electricity. So the price has gone up now to $1.2 billion, and we're no closer. We're 6 months and hadn't turned the shovel on it, and we've got these screwworms right breathing down our neck. So it's going to be another 3 years. It probably won't be in full production during Trump's term, is my prediction.
Gotcha. So the last two, and I'll leave it to that, is how far north are the screwworms? And then could you explain? I've heard it's how you get the screwworm out of cattle once it happens. Not to get too gruesome, but could you let folks know?
Yeah, okay. The screwworm, we had it bottled up in southern Mexico for a year. We've been dumping these 100 million flies a week down there. So that means we've dumped 5 billion sterile flies in that region, and it's remained static. It's still about 800 to 1,200 cases every week. It doesn't get any worse, it doesn't get any better. But apparently we had some hitchhiked 700 miles north, and now we have them 187 miles from Texas in the southern part down there. So they're getting really, really close. And these weren't cattle that was hauled up there. These are swarms of flies. They're there. We know that for a fact. And so I think they probably hitchhiked in somebody's car up there. When I go to the barn, I leave the windows down, my truck gets full of flies and try to shoosh them out, but I never can get them all out. And then I drive to Austin, open the door, there's 5 or 6 I just transported them down to Austin. I think that's how they got up in the northern Mexico. So knowing that, I have put traps around the cruise ship terminals in Corpus Christi and Galveston, because I'm afraid that might be the source. If we're not, we need to be ready. We need to know if that's where they're coming from. So we're ready. So the screwworm affects all 200 species of mammals. That means wildlife, livestock, but it also means pets, means human beings. There's 18 cases in infected humans in Mexico, 2 deaths. So it's pretty gruesome. So we have some tools that we didn't have back in the 60s and 70s that work really, really good. And you've heard of it. It's an anti-parasitic drug called ivermectin. And so you can give that to your pets. They will not get the screwworm if you keep them on a regular basis. If something does have the screwworm, you can give them that, and it will kill the larva almost immediately. So that's a good tool. We can now add it to our feed. I've worked with the FDA and got it approved as a feed additive. We couldn't do that before. So in an emergency, we can add that to our livestock feed. But we also have 1 million deer and about that many exotics behind high fence. And they get fed every day, so we can protect those. Those are very valuable. A lot of farmers and hunters will feed their low fence deer, and so we can protect those. The toughest thing is keeping it from decimating wildlife.
So we've had a lot of drought over the years, and cattle herds in the U.S. are as low as they are since the 50s. So how do we help the Texas cattle farmer grow his herd?
Okay, this is actually first time I've really had a disagreement with Donald Trump, but I've told him about it in a nice way. He said, first he said, we're going to bring the price of eggs down. The price of eggs come down. He said, we're going to bring the price of gasoline and diesel down. The price came down. Then he said, we're going to bring the price of beef down. How are you going to do that? We're going to buy more beef from Argentina. We're going to quadruple the amount of beef we get from Argentina. I said, whoa. No. You don't do that. Let me tell you, to bring the price of beef down, we need to grow our cattle herd. You're making our agricultural trade deficit worse by buying more beef from Argentina. I said, let me give you some suggestions. I said, Biden and his Green New Deal, all of that, the cattle flatulence, and he wanted to get rid of all the cattle. So he ended all the grazing leases on federal land. We have 24 million acres, no livestock on it. I said, first thing you should do is open that land back up, so we will have a place to put our cows during the drought, and we can hold some heifers back if we need to, because we got a place to run them. So almost immediately, Secretary Doug Burgum opened 5 million acres, and I expect they're going to. So they took my first advice. I said, if you want to grow the cow herd, you can do this. Do a heifer retention tax credit, kind of like a child tax credit. Pay that farmer $500 for every heifer he'll keep, and they'll keep them. I promise you, they want to keep them, but they're bringing so much money they can't hardly afford to. And we could do that. Those guys are making a little money. They could actually use a tax rate. So that would build the cow herd. And I said, if you want to drop it immediately, and you have to be very, very careful or you'll crash the market. It'll go down so fast. Is we get 15% of our live cattle out of Mexico. We bring them up here. We run them on our wheat pastures this time of year. We go to the feedlots. We fatten them up. We sell them back to Mexico. Since the screwworm has shut the border down, there's 1,200,000 of them sitting down there waiting to get in. I said, you start opening that border up gradually, and you'll see the price of beef immediately drop. Now, they have not done that. I think they were just about ready to do it, and then these screwworms jumped up here close to the border, so I don't think they could do that now. But anyway, they've taken some of my suggestions, and they may do the heifer retention tax credit.
I have a sort of a twofer. First of all, is there any mRNA injected meat in Texas?
Yes, there is.
Is it labeled mRNA injected?
It
because
is not labeled.
I don't want to eat it.
It's not labeled mRNA.
Can you make them label it?
So here's the deal. mRNA vaccines. We don't need them. We've got every vaccine is either live or modified live virus for our life. I've been giving the COVID vaccine to my livestock for my whole adult life. I mean, it's in the vaccine. And so I don't know why we'd need an mRNA, but you know what they're trying to do. So there's no livestock that receives mRNA vaccines with the exception of pork. Pork has been getting it now for about 7 years. They've been giving it to them. We didn't know it. The Agr Commissioner didn't know it. It was real quiet. And there's a Chinese company that owns it. They own a pork production farm and a processing facility. They own 60% and process 60% of the pork in the United States. It's called Smithfield Foods, and it's owned by the Chinese. And the Chinese are the ones that are injecting our pork. So if you can find somebody local that you can buy your sausage and hams from, I'd suggest you do it, because more than likely, if it comes from Smithfield Foods, it's got mRNA in it.
Okay. I have another question about organic vegetables and so forth. Do you have any control over that? Because I know they've loosened the regulations and farmers can now put more pesticides on their vegetables and still call them organic. Do you have any control over that?
Yes, I do. I run that program, and you cannot put any pesticide on an organic vegetable, and I'll kick you out of the program. I don't know where you heard that. We do not allow that. We really don't. We actually run another program called Food Safety Inspection Service, and the reason we started that was the organic vegetables that were eaten raw, since they're fertilized with manure and sewage sludge and chicken litter, they would occasionally kill somebody because of E. coli or salmonella. So we had to go in and try to educate them, and we help them keep from getting sued. So since we started that program about 5 years ago, you haven't heard of anybody getting sick from spinach or carrots or any of that stuff that was before. So I think we're doing a good job on that. No one's got sick or died.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Lettuce, yeah. What you want to be careful of, and I may make some organic people mad in here, but I grow all my vegetable gardens organic. But this manure or sewage sludge, which is human manure, to fertilizer, you can't use commercial fertilizers. They scatter this manure on the ground. It's great. I mean, it'll grow stuff. It's really good. But when the rain comes and it splashes that dirt and it's real fine, it gets up on the leaves and in the cracks and crevices. And that's the raw stuff is what if you cook it, it kills all that. You don't have to worry about it. But the raw stuff you want to really wash and rinse about 3 times before you eat it. It'd be my recommendation.
Hi, I'm the Vice President of Veterans for America First, Veterans for Trump. And I have a question. Donald J. Trump has been working with legislation for us with our Gold Star mothers. And I want to know is why did you manipulate our Gold Star mothers and promise to run legislation when you didn't follow through?
What legislation was that?
It was to stop and prevent stuff with our military members. And it has to do with registering and verifying IDs for rental car companies.
Okay.
So why is that going on? And why didn't you support Trump in that and our Gold Star mothers?
Well, a very good friend of mine runs, Tracy Two-Step runs a Gold Star mother program. And I have no idea what you're talking about. I never carried.
You do.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you do. Tracy
No,
Two-Step is actually under VFAF.
No, ma'am. I never carried any legislation for the Gold Star mothers.
Yes,
I'd be honored.
You pushed it.
I didn't push
Tracy
anything.
Two-Step came to you.
Okay, whatever. I think you must have me mixed up with someone else. Yeah. Sorry, I don't know what that's about.
You ready? Are you ready? I'm ready. Come on.
Hello there, Mr. Miller. God bless you and thank you for the damn good work you're doing. Sure appreciate it. I know you're doing a good job. I'm just a regular old voter down here in Montgomery County getting involved in some of this politics. And I used to be a really proud Montgomery County voter. Now, if I was up there in Walker County, I'd be very proud of the state representative they have up there, because I think he's doing the right thing. But here in Montgomery, Texas, we got a little problem going on. We got this feller running around His campaign slogan says, let's make lying wrong again. His name's Willie Metcalf. I call him Slick Willie. Okay? Now, this fella here, like I said, I'd like to be proud voter again, but integrity is something that you earn as a man. You got to be loyal to a cause, to a group of fellers. And I was very surprised to find out this gentleman is running around saying that the Republicans never had a state representative that was really voted in at the Republican caucus named Mr. Cook. Fiction, he says, it never really happened. I looked into it and I found out. What's your question? Well, my question is, how do you stand on that issue?
Well, you know, I'm old school, and everything's the way I grew up and the way I am today is built on a handshake and trust. And if you don't have that in the legislature, you don't have anybody's respect. None. They would come down the aisle trying to get us all to switch our vote, and they would come to my desk. They just walk around me. And how come y'all never talk to me? Well, hell, you're not changing your mind. You're sticking with your principles. We're not wasting our time on it. So I admire that, and I just bring it up that y'all didn't endorse me, and I was told it was because of my chief of staff, Todd Smith. Well, let me tell you what happened to Todd. What happened to Todd is what happened to Trump and Tom DeLay and Rick Perry and Kay Bailey Hutchins and me twice. There's a George Soros DA in Travis County, and the judge is a George Soros funded judge. And they went after me, and they couldn't get anything, so they started bringing my employees in, trying to get them to come up with some dirt. They set Todd Smith down, and they said, tell you what, buddy, you tell us what we need to know about Sid Miller, and you can walk out that door. Your troubles go away. He said, I'll tell you everything I know about Sid Miller, but there's no dirt. Well, they stayed after him, thought they'd break him, and they did. They bankrupted him. He lost his family over it, lost all his clients. He was selling plasma twice a week to buy groceries. That's how bad it got. And they got down to it, and they didn't have a case. And his lawyers, they said, you know, this is slam dunk, but if we're going through a Soros judge and Soros DA and a Democrat jury, they're going to do, we don't know that we can, you know, prove it. We can prove it, but we don't know that they won't convict you anyway, because they've just done Trump that way 94 times. And they offer him a sweetheart deal, small fines, some community service, and a deferred adjudication. And I told him, I said, you got to take it. You can't risk, you know, going to jail up there. I mean, you just take the deal. So he took the deal. And then I hired him as my chief of staff. He's the one who put these 43 trips to these foreign countries together. He did that in 30 days. And this man's amazing. He's fantastic. The best hire I ever made. So anyway, I feel sorry for him. You know, this DA's, remember Tom DeLay? That's the same DA office coming after Tom DeLay. Remember when he went after Rick Perry? Because he cut off the funding for Rosemary Lindbergh, the drunk DA. They did the same thing, Kay Bailey Hutchison. They investigated me twice. They couldn't even find enough to indict me. You don't need much to indict somebody. But the problem is they get the headlines. And so they've got Todd Smith headlines. And so my opponent's trying to, you know, wrap that around me. But none of it was true. And if you can believe me or not, but that's the way it is.
Yes, sir. A couple of questions real quick. One, does the beef production of the United States satisfy the needs of the people of the United States? People.
The beef production.
The beef production, can it feed just the United States beef production? Can it feed all the people in the United States?
The amazing thing about beef, it's gotten really high, and I've studied this. Even as high as it is now, the per capita consumption of beef has not dropped off. So you know what that tells me? It was just really cheap for a long time. It's probably getting close to about, it needs to come down a little bit. I think it does. Because what happens if it gets too high, people switch proteins. They'll eat more chicken and fish and lentils and, you know, pork and other cheaper sources of protein. But Americans love their beef. We love our hamburgers. We love our T-bones and our ribeyes, and we haven't quit eating it. So maybe, you know, hamburger right now is about, depending on what quality, $6 to $7 a pound. You compare that to a $7 cup of coffee, it doesn't seem too high, does it? Well, you get four quarter-pound hamburgers out of a pound. So what's that, $1.60 a patty or something? So that doesn't, when you break it down, that's
Not bad.
not that bad, really.
I was looking for a yes or no answer.
Okay, you
Do,
asked.
can we be self-sufficient in beef production in this country to where we don't have to import beef from other countries?
Yes, we can. We've done that for years. We really don't import much beef. The beef we import is low quality, lean beef. We eat lots of hamburger and we feed lots of cattle. When you feed lots of cattle, you've got a lot of trim or tallow or fat, and there's no way to sell it because we don't have enough lean meat to mix with it. So we'll buy some lean, those companies will buy lean meat wherever they can find it, mix that tallow with it, and then have, hamburger to sell, not have to throw the tallow away. So that's why we've imported it in the past. We don't have enough lean meat.
Money.
Yeah.
And two, what specific products do we have to import from other countries? Can we be self-sufficient? My theme here, if we can be self-sufficient, why not be self-sufficient?
Well, there's some things we don't grow coffee. We can't grow coffee. Well, we grow some in Hawaii, but not enough for the whole United States. We don't grow bananas. We don't grow mangoes. There's a lot of stuff. We don't grow macadamia nuts. We don't grow Brazil nuts. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff that doesn't grow here. And we still buy a lot of tomatoes and other vegetables in the wintertime because unless we have a few greenhouses, but not enough to supply everybody. So we'll import. And we used to kind of have a gentleman's agreement. Mexico would grow in the off season, and we'd grow during the growing season, and we got along pretty good. Now the cartels have got involved, and they're dumping everything and suppressing the prices. You may have seen the anti-dumping measures that Trump instituted on Mexico on their tomatoes. It's been a wonderful evening. I enjoy the questions more than any part of it. So thank y'all very much. God bless you.
Ken, you want to come up?
It needs a new screw.
Yeah. Let me do that. Yes or no? We're gonna fix this.
So if you give me just a second, I won't take long. As most of you know, early voting starts in 2 weeks, right? I implore you, this is where the rubber meets the road. We need folks who work in the parking lot handing out voter guides. If you're not, so the way this is going to work is there are 10 early voting locations in the county. We're going to be sending out, if you want to be on the list to get the email, we will be sending out Sign Up Genius for folks to work the polls at all 10 voting locations in the county. We need everybody there. I plan on being there most of the day, and let me tell you, if all you could spare was an hour or two that I could run and get a sandwich and come right back, anything would be appreciated, guys. So if you're interested in working the parking lot during early voting, I'll be over here at the sign-up table, and what you're signing up for now is to get the email so that you will be on the Sign-Up Genius so that you can pick slots. These locations need a minimum 3 people working there at any one time. The more, the merrier. We can be overwhelmed by the other side, and if you're there helping us, it would be greatly appreciated. If you want to make a difference in the county, get Gwen elected. There's a lot of good conservatives that we need to get elected to this county. We need you working the parking lot, guys. So I implore you to meet over here after the meeting's adjourned, and I'd be happy to get your name and email and get you signed up. Appreciate y'all.
Good evening, guys. We're at that time of year again that we do renewals of membership. So if you haven't done that yet, you will see the QR codes up here. It's very simple. You just look at that with your camera on your phone, and then you'll have a little pop-up of a website to go to. It'll take you straight to the membership form. You can complete that there. You can check out completely on your phone. We also have all of those QR codes over on the membership table where you're going to be going back to anyway, because you got to put your name tag back. Don't be like me. I've probably stolen about 6 of these so far. So Kendra's always reminded me I need your name tag back. If you're still old school and you want to do paper, we can do that too. She's got paper. So please do remember to go back and do that before you head out tonight. Remember that if you're able to, please go out to YouTube. Please go out to our videos. Please like and share them, because we're still trying to gather as many subscribers as possible so that we're able to completely live stream on these meetings. And YouTube has some criteria you got to meet. So if you'll do that for us. Also, make sure you check out usvotesmart.org. If you haven't told your friends about it, if you haven't shared it on your own personal Facebook yet, please do. It is one of the best resources that our voters can use to do their own research. And you need to be doing your own research. Part of the reason you're here tonight is you're very grassroots, or you wouldn't even be here to hear these kind of people speak and to know about the real inside story of what's going on in Texas. But remember to tell your friends and family to go there and do their research. They can link directly to every single video. You have an hour-long video of Sid Miller speaking. You have an hour-long video of a number of our politicians that are incumbents in office, as well as those challenging them, so that you can decide for yourself. And I wish you would go out and check it out. I wish you would share it with everybody that you know. We're trying to get a good following there. Any other? usvotesmart.org. It will also be at the bottom of all of our voter guides. So you will see it again there. You will be able to remind people when they want to go out and look at it. And there's at least 25 policy questions that every single candidate answered. You want to know what they think about just about any conservative issue, we asked them for you. And we had them write it down, and most of them we got on videotape. So you definitely want to look at those. One of my personal favorites that's worth the hour, which most of you know this already, was Aaron Wright's, because you heard him speak at the last meeting. But we've got some phenomenal videos for you out there. Any other questions? Yeah. That happened. I just broke it.
I know it was done. The screw wants to eat.
Yeah, it'll get you. So we'll be meeting again in 2 weeks. Mays Middleton will be our guest speaker. So I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. Thank you for your support. If there's anything we can do to help you, just click on our website or give us a call. Thank you all.